Good morning. My name is Coach Mag, and this is the Week 3 press conference. Now, before we start anything, I want to clear the air. First of all, due to my outburst on Twitter against the GBA media, I was unable to invite media to my press conference as the league feared I would actually get into a fist fight with some of the reporters. So they sent their questions in via email, and I got to answer them that way. So that's kind of annoying. Second of all, I'd like to apologize for the coaches, it's me in the third person, outburst over the social media Twitter sphere. Third of all, I want to apologize to Monster Energy because you should really sponsor me, because it looks like, guys, Nas is making a strong play to get my full support. But all that aside, let's get to these questions. Oh yeah, also, the league said I can only answer 5 questions in this press conference, because those are the restrictions that were handed down to me because of my actions over the media waves. So, let's get down to it. Let's get the first. I'll be reading them. We can edit them in afterwards. We can edit them. We can edit them in, so you can. But I'll be reading them as well, in case you're curious. So this one is from Steve Reski. Will the freeze and now the poison, does Rotom have a status problem, and how can that be fixed? Well, Steve, Rotom is it's one of those Pokemon that can attract status. Usually used as a wall. The poison wasn't a big deal. It didn't. The freeze was a huge deal. We're gonna have to get Rotom some conditioning, as you know. After the freeze, we got him into the mountains to condition him and strengthen him for that environment. So we're gonna have to now, I guess, dip him in Avada acid and dump some really acidic materials into his spin cycle next time to get him tougher with that environment and tougher with that status. He might have a status problem. I'm not saying he is. Rotom's not saying he is, but it would be foolish not to explore that possibility. I feel like I would not be doing my job as a coach if I didn't at least make that plausible. So we might as well just eradicate that as a problem, even if there isn't one, just to get that out of the way. And I think Rotom would agree with you if Rotom were here to speak for himself. Unfortunately, I had some laundry to do, so you got to plug him in and get some. I'm wearing some ratty gray hoodie. That's not good at all. Let's get another question here. This is from David. Coach, losing Rotom on a poison has greatly affected the outcome of the game after the DC. Why didn't you throw a challenge flag? Well, I had a lot of guys upstairs watching the film as I was playing it live, and I asked them, is this something I should challenge? You think it's overturnable or you think it's winnable? I don't want to lose one of my timeouts. I don't want to do that. And furthermore, if I'm wrong, I would still say I had momentum after the thunderous sucker punch that Rotom had. I didn't want to disrupt that. Now, unfortunately, that was disrupted organically by the flow of the battle, but at the time, I didn't want to actually get rid of the flow of the battle and disrupt that and risk losing momentum on a stoppage like that for a challenge. If I had known what was coming up, maybe I would have, just to get my guys to refocus up after that that high of taking out Thunders. Maybe I should have had them refocus, but it didn't happen. Let's get this is from Adam. Disconnects can't be avoided. Are there talks of changing how they're handled, i.e. starting a new battle instead of recreating it? No. Starting a new battle, I believe, is like the 4th option on the list, because you spend all week planning your sets and your surprises, and now DC happens 11 turns in. He knows I have Sucker Punch Rotom. It's going to greatly change how he plays the game. That's not really fair to me, that I spent time preparing this surprise, and because Nintendo decides to DC, that doesn't count. That's not how that's going to work. I think anyone in the league will agree with you. Too much of their set will be known. It'll change. Obviously, you know more about them, but I had more surprises than I guess he had. Now, if I had known that Gliscor was a speed-type Gliscor, maybe I'd be more inclined to agree with you. But the fairness of the league and the fairness of everything, if a player spends all week prepping a set, they want to be able to use that set and the surprise that comes with it. So we do our best to recreate the battle as to avoid, because what happens if I'm up, I'm up 4-4, it's tied 4-4, 21 turns and DCs, and now all the work I'd done is ruined because DC'd. I'm going to do that way. This is from Tom. Have you tried doing the opposite of what Steve would do? Well, yeah. My biggest criticism last year was that I was too reckless, and my biggest criticism this year is that I'm playing too safe. So I think you answered your own goddamn question there, Tom, but I appreciate it. And we'll take one more. From Sinister M. It's Miss Mike. Do you believe your misplay by not protecting with Gardevoir is a sign of how anxious for a W you were? Alright, I wanted to get to this one last. That was not a misplay. I believe wholeheartedly in not going for Protect. Let's look at why. I posted it on Twitter, a calc. My Hyper Voice to his Gliscor did 74 to 92.9%. If he was the set that I still thought he was. If I'd gone for Protect, he would have gotten back more than his 92.9 maximum percentage. So if I'd gone for a Protect, I actually would not have killed Gliscor, because that would have... Okay, I would have killed Gliscor, but it would have been the same exact situation. Because I would not have killed... I would have killed Gliscor for 2 Hyper Voices. 1 Hyper Voice would not have... if I got a crit, sure, but obviously I'm not going to count that. 1 Hyper Voice, if I protected, 1 Hyper Voice would not have taken out his Gliscor 100% of the time by normal means. So if I had protected, I get to outspeed him, go for Hyper Voice, he lives, he hits me with his move, I'm at the same amount of HP, Hyper Voice him again, the situation would have been exactly the same. There would have been no change at all, because I was not... He EV'd it, so I could not take out his Gliscor, and the way I calculated, I figured he was going to have a little special defense in there, and I calculated it, and I thought he was that set, and if I'd gone for Protect, I would not have taken him out. De facto, just would not have, unless, obviously, I guess I got a crit, but we don't know that, so the odds are most likely I was not. So I believe that was not a misplay, and based on my knowledge and assumption of the set, I wanted to make sure to take out the Gliscor and not... There wasn't even a chance I was going to take it out that turn. I might not have taken it out that turn. I dealt about damage I needed to do, and I took it out. And that's that. So that was not a misplay. And that is the press conference. So hopefully, if we don't have any outbursts, we're back next week allowing the media in here. That'll be nice. And I'll be able to answer some more questions. That'll be also nice. We'll see you guys in the battlefield. That'll be cool. Let's get the win this week, huh? Fucking come on, man. Let's go. Jesus.